The EPA has a new set of regulations for power plants that would cut CO2 emissions by 30%. Experts say it's impossible for Wisconsin to comply without shutting down its economy and instituting daily brownouts.
There is no question that if we take over half of the electricity that we have, generation capacity that we have today, and say we want to put that off limits, that is going to have a devastating impact on the availability of electricity and the reliability of our grid.
The U.S. Chamber of Commerce estimated, based on that proposed rule, that we're going to lose about 20,000 jobs in the first couple years. That's devastating, and then we'd continue to lose jobs.
This past summer, the U.S. Supreme Court told the EPA it had to consider the economic impact when implementing new rules. But that doesn't mean the EPA can't ultimately implement them anyway. And so over a dozen states' attorneys general are currently requesting an injunction against the agency.
If we can stop the process now, then we can proceed with the bigger lawsuit where we will attempt to prove that they have exceeded their legal authority, and we can have that law permanently struck down.
Additionally, groups like Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce are considering their own lawsuits.
It's bad policy, and we certainly don't agree with the policy, but it's also illegal. And a lot of the regulatory approaches that the EPA proposes in this rule are not grounded in federal law, are not grounded in the Clean Air Act, and we just can't let that. We can't let them regulate beyond their authority, especially when doing so has such dire impacts on our state.
Some believe the new regulations are an underhanded attempt to implement a policy of cap and trade, something Congress voted against back in 2009 when the Democrats ran the show.
They specifically didn't give EPA that authority. But now in this rule, you have EPA saying, states, we're telling you to cap emissions and trade. We want you to do what Congress refused to do. And I would love to have the EPA explain how they have the authority to implement cap and trade for electric utilities when Congress, very explicitly didn't give them that authority.
They backed away from it because it was so unpopular with the American people. This regulation is just cap and trade done through a different route. It's coming in the back door.
For the MacIver Institute, I'm Bill Osmolsky.